Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch. Every once in a while, we talk about something else crafty, but today, as with most weeks, it is all cross stitch. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. I hope you like what you see. Hit like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming and watching and supporting and all your kindness. It has meant so much to me. I can't even put into words how much it does. Couple things. One, yes, I am in a winter sweater. I pulled out the winter sweaters because it is freezing here in Delaware. We are low 50s. The rain, it just started pouring just as I hit play. I don't think you'll be able to hear it though against the windows. It's raining, it's dreary, it's foggy, it's freezing. I refuse to turn the heat on at this point when it's almost the middle of May. So I'm just putting on layers and layers of clothes. Yesterday, I think I had 2 sweatshirts plus another top on just to stay warm. So I'm not sure what happened to spring, but they forgot to come here. I'll tell you that. So yes, it is winter sweater time again. And then I did want to mention comments. Most of the time I do my very, very best to respond to each and every comment. You taking the time to make a comment means a lot to me, and I want to make sure you know that by responding. But this past week has been, as many of you guessed after last week's video, it was a very difficult week. I had trouble saying what was going on, and so I just couldn't respond. In some cases, if you asked a direct question, especially about stitching, I did respond to you. I did answer your question, but for the most part, I just gave all the comments hearts. Even the Monday video, I didn't get to all the comments, and then the week just went horrendous. And so even those, I haven't answered all of them, but I did read them, heart them the whole bit, just so that you know that I have read them, and I'm so, so grateful for all your kind words and all of you who were thinking of me when you knew something was potentially wrong, but I just couldn't say it. So thank you so much, and I know you all will understand. You all are just too nice not to understand that I just couldn't. If somebody had sent me a email or a message on Instagram, I did answer all of those, but I just couldn't do it with the comments on the video. So thank you for thank you for your I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, your kindness and your understanding. That's what I want to say with that. Okay, I will talk about life at the end. I will probably actually tape it separately so that if I start to cry again, I can retape it a few times, but I don't want to do it now because then I don't really do editing well. So we're just going to go right into the stitching. And that way too, if you don't want to hear about life, you don't have to. Okay, I realized that when I am sad, I stitch, and I also happen to be by myself for much of this week. So I was by myself and I was sad, and I said, well, I'm just going to stitch. So I have 8 projects to show you this week. Let's see, 1, 2 new starts and a finish. 3 new starts. No, yeah, 3 new starts. They're minis, most of them. So, starts and finishes there. Pretty easy, especially when you're stitching half the day away. Okay. I'm moving my stuff all around on the table down here. I'm still working in this angle because my room at the moment is kind of on hold, getting everything, and I'm still looking. I have things in my mind of how I want to store things, and I can't find it. So, work in progress. Craft room is a work in progress. Okay, so every week you know that I am starting a mini Heaven and Earth design, and I wanted and needed lots of color this week. I needed something bright and cheery, so I pulled out, make sure I get the name right, Mini Sunflower Garden. Artist is Dona Gelsinger. I love this. I just love all the colors and the brightness. And it's not super big. It's 195 by 289 as the mini. So that's doable. Even holding the fabric, because I stitched the minis in hand. I stitched the full coverages in hand just like I do everything else. And it's not too bad holding onto the fabric. So this is what I have. I have a corner. That bright blue is bright, but it is fun to stitch. So I started it on Friday afternoon. Sat down and said, you know, I'm going to do a start. I might do that this afternoon as well and start my next full coverage mini. Let me bend this over a little bit. And then what I did was, because you don't get, a chunk of time doesn't always get you a ton of stitching, although with the blocks of color here, I've made good progress, I feel like, in a week. I would give myself an hour or two each afternoon, and I would pull this out. I pulled out another one, so in the afternoons, so half my afternoon was devoted to this, half is another one you're gonna see at the moment. So I thought I made good progress. I have a little bit more fill in here, but what I'm doing is, because there's so much of this blue and there's big chunks of it still, once I got past these, I'm gonna pick some blue strands, and then this is a lot of, a little bit more confetti-ish where there's a bunch of different colors. I'll work on that, then do a bunch of blue, then I know there's another one of those here, and I'll just go back and forth so that the blue doesn't seem overwhelming, but it's also nice when, after I've done 10 colors in this little area, to just do one for a chunk of time. 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. That's how I'm doing all of my full coverages. So that's where it is. Super fun. I'm trying to figure out in this month how I want to tackle my full coverage minis. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Whether or not that stays or works for the rest of the month, who knows? It worked this week, but next week the house will be vastly fuller with people, so things may change. So anyway, that's it. All right, next. Next, I have 2 pieces from here. This is Halloween calendar from Tiny Modernist. And last week I had started day 12. So that's where I'm going to work with first. Oh, it's pouring and I can just see somebody walking outside with their little puppies. Oh boy. And I don't know if we were expecting this, so I'm not, oh, there's a little teeny tiny dog. I'm not sure they were expecting it either. Okay. We have a very dog-friendly neighborhood, so you always get a chance to see lots and lots of dogs. Anyway, here we go. This is 18 count Storm from Picture This Plus, and that is day 12. I had the top part all done. I just needed to work really more down here. So that's what I ended up doing. I like this, this Picture This Plus is nice. It's a little bit tighter than the general Picture This Pluses. Okay, so I got that one finished, and I wasn't sure, was I gonna start a new one? I wasn't 100% sure on that. But then I was watching Janet Jabber. Hi, Janet. And she was talking about, so she's doing Scary Apothecary for her current Halloween pieces, because one of the things Janet does is she has certain days that she works on certain type of pieces. And I think there's one day where she has a kind of Halloween mini focus. And so she's almost done with those. And she mentioned in this past week's video that she was going to start this calendar. I'm pretty sure, Janet, I think this is what you said you were going to start. Now, I am super curious. Are you going to stitch it as one or mini ones? You didn't mention that. So I'm so curious to see what she's going to do. And Janet has a great combo of fabrics that she uses. So I'm really excited to see what she chooses, however she stitches it. So when Janet said she was going to be starting this, that said to me, because she's really good at getting these things done, she's going to get it finished before I do if I don't get myself moving. So when I finished day 12, after I watched her video, I said, you know what? We're going to start day 13, which is this cute little owl right here. And I'm going to have to keep myself on track, because really this project's been going on too long. And I'm not stitching. I mean, I'm not stitching any of the calendar in between parts, so there's really no excuses. So I have half of day 13 done right there. Now I am doing them on different color fabrics. As you can see, this is 2 of the 4 that I'm doing. And this one is an 18 count fabric from Fabrics by Stephanie, and it's called Haunting. It's a beautiful, let me show you if I were to open it up. Look at how pretty that is. It's mostly kind of grayish with hints of purple, a little bit of white, but like over here you get more of a hint of purple. I'm not sure if it'll show up today. It's such a dreary day. I had to turn the lights on. Normally I don't have to because we get enough nice light from the windows. I just picked this corner, so it's going to be cut down small anyway, but I have so much of this fabric left, well, a good chunk, so I'm super excited. But it's beautiful fabric by Stephanie, perfect for so many things, not just Halloween. But there we go. So we have a hat and a number. I hemmed and hawed about the numbers, but I did go ahead with them. And now we just got to concentrate on the owl itself. So hopefully, maybe, depending on what kind of stitching time I have this week, I will be able to get another finish and bring that to you next week. So we'll see. These are easy. I mean, if you were doing them separately, for example, or even if you were doing them as the full thing, if you kind of looked at each one, depending on your stitching time, of course, you know, I mean, we all have different amounts of stitching time we have, and that varies from week to week. Anyway, these each section, you could look at it as like a little mini start and finish, and you could start and finish them pretty quickly. This one, I am not stitching all that. I'm just going to stitch it on black, so that one should go quickly. You know, the eyeball should go. There's quite a few of them that should go quickly. So if you were thinking about it, if you stitch Halloween, I know some of you do, some of you love doing it, and some of you don't. But it's a fun little piece, you know, and you can either do it as one big piece or the little ones. You could even pick and choose if you don't want to do it as a calendar and like make me little mini pillows and put them in some sort of bowl or area or whatever. Okay, that's my Halloween focus. But that goes under my mini. So we have 2 different types of minis, right? We have my mini minis, and then we have mini full coverage. So you've seen 2 of those already. Before I started day 13 of the Halloween calendar, I said, I'm going to start this as my mini, because I've been so curious how this color fabric would look, and I really wanted to try it. And it's this week's giveaway, so I figured, well, there you go. Now I can show you on something completely different, whoever happens to win the chart, or if you already have it and you're thinking about maybe changing up the fabric color. So this is Fabrics in Time 2022, number 1. It's the only one I have of this season so far. I picked up some from last year. I didn't pick up the whole bunch. I'm not stitching any of these as a full piece, so it really doesn't matter. I kind of pick and choose. And I liked the little bowl here. Bowl of berries, apples. They're berries probably, but they kind of remind me of apples. But the color was so dark, and there's been a few more in the series, because I think maybe 4 have come out. I don't even know how many have come out. I've seen a few different ones, and I just find them so dark. The colors are pretty dark, and the fabric's dark. And if that's your decor or your aesthetic, then you're gonna love these. But for me, I like things a little lighter and brighter. I did keep all of the colors. They do give a DMC alternative to the weeks that works that it's charted in. So I am using all the DMCs, and I think I don't even have to, there's one that's a lighter green. I don't think I have to change it. I've got one area I want to stitch to find out for sure, but I think I'll be okay. If I do, that would be the only one I'd need to change. But I really wanted to brighten this one up for fabric. So I pulled out some of my Honeydew Melon from my Serena Sprout stitching, cut it up, and here we go. Look at this. I love this. So this is 18 count Honeydew Melon from To Die For Fabrics. And, you know, I started off really just outlining everything, which I loved. And then I added a little bit of green. There are 2 shades of green in there. I'll know more with the second green. Oh, I have ink on my fingers. Make sure I don't touch my fabrics with it. There'll be some green leaves coming out here, so I'll have a better idea if I need to change it. And I did in person, you see the yellow, it's, let me see if I can find it. I don't know which one it is, but in person, the DMC looks, it wasn't great, but I said, I want to try it on here. And I actually really like it on here. So I did keep that called for DMC alternative. Now I want to add some of the other colors in here, but I am loving this so far. It just brightens it right up and almost makes it look like a different piece for me. So that's the two alternatives. And you, of course, you have all sorts of, if you wanted a neutral, you could go a lot of different directions with the neutral here. But to go something completely different, I took this green fabric, I adore it, and I'm so glad I'm giving that a try. So I'm looking forward to stitching some more in, getting some more colors in, and showing you a completely different way to look at these patterns if you wanted to try something a little different. And now I'm super excited to go back and look at some of the other ones that have come out this year and see, okay, do I like the overall design? Maybe not necessarily on this fabric, I don't know, but what kind of background fabric can I use to really just bring out the design and brighten it up a little bit? So that is my Fragments in Time, another mini start. So my two, I had the mini full cover start and two mini starts. And then one mini finish. Okay. Now, I have found this week, I had started the Sunflower Cottage from Heaven and Earth, the full coverage, and I was loving it. But I kept thinking about last week's full coverage. And that one, oh no. There we go. I don't know what I did there. That one, to remind you, was Mini Paris Morning from Uliana Babenko. I hope I'm saying that right. And I am way up here in the corner with all the pinks. Although I decided, well, I'm missing a few colors. My Michaels is looking a little sparse, I have to say. I'm gonna have to order a few colors online. Usually I try the best I can to do it locally, but there's a few. You're gonna see some empty spots. I do have to pick up a few colors. So I decided, oh, well, this is a good chance to jump over to do some more color. So how did I work my full coverage this week? I decided to do it, I don't even know how you'd call it. There's somebody that I do my workouts with on, I work out here at home, whether either I walk or I do some weights or I do, low impact, just exercise, whatever. And somebody on YouTube that I use, when she does low impact aerobics, for example, one of the techniques she uses is called inchworm. So you do an exercise and then you do another one and then you have like a break or whatever. And then you do the second exercise and then you do a third and you work your way that way. So I kind of did it backwards. I started the Sunflower Cottage and then I said, I want to go back to Mini Paris for a little while. So I kind of inchwormed it. And then next week, if I start something new today, then on my extra time, I might do some more Sunflower Cottage and kind of do a little inchworm of sorts. I don't know. I'm stretching a bit, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I wanted to pull this out again, and this didn't get work every day. I did try to work on Sunflower Cottage a little bit each and every day. This one, not so much, but I did give it a few different days. I pulled it out and I said I want to give it some time. And it might have gotten a little bit of more time than Sunflower Cottage on a day or two. But here's Mini Paris. So I did some more of the pink. I am missing a couple. There's a big stretch up here. I can't for the life of me get that color from Michaels. I keep going back thinking, okay, they're gonna restock. And they have not restocked. So I will jump on 1, 2, 3 Stitch, I think, and place an order. But I also then decided I wanted to do, there's some purples there, and then the window, is it kind of a, it's a open, it's a window door. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they're called. So the frame of it is in purple. And then up here, there's some leaves and such before you get to the sky. So I pulled out some more colors and I said, I want to give this a go. This is just about the end of page 1. I haven't decided how I'm traveling. I do have some of these main colors, so I could go down to the next page here, come out here. With these, I'm doing like loose diagonals, but I basically pick a color, stitch it, and then move on. As you can tell, obviously, I'm not filling in total blocks with every color. But 18 count white aida, same as the other one, is how I'm doing it with the full crosses. But I love this one. Again, I am amazed, and it doesn't even use all of the pinks and the mauves, but how many pinks there are in DMC. And we are getting a lot of them in, let me tell you. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I will see, maybe there'll be one day where it gets a little bit of time because I'm really enjoying this stitch. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to completely put it away. But that is Mini Paris Morning. Okay, and it is a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, and a little bit taller than the Sunflower Cottage. So it is a little bit more, I don't want to say unwieldy holding the fabric, but I do have to be a little bit more aware of how I'm doing it. But it's still doable. I mean, I'm doing the full regular sized, which in hand, so I should be able to do this. Okay, moving on. You haven't seen any, have you seen any? No, you haven't seen any Christmas yet. This is partly a Merry Mini Squared May, so I have 2 Christmas to show you. The first one, now I'm going to be very careful because I think I was not as careful. Did I show this last week? Lifting up my patterns. These Prairie Schoolers, they get me because they put stuff on the back. This is Christmas Tree Farm. So that's what it looks like. Now, actually, I don't think I showed this last week because I don't remember telling you all the things I'm not going to do. So I'm not going to do the border, but I am going to stitch them as if there was a border, if that makes sense. So I am stopping them where they stop. So it will be kind of a invisible sort of border. I originally thought I was going to stitch the moon, but I was going to change the color because the moon is like a very kind of grayish, brownish gray. I wasn't loving it. So I was going to switch it to a brighter yellow, or even maybe like the sparkly etoile. But yesterday I was stitching a little bit on this. I tried to give it a couple days worth of time. And I decided, if I'm looking at it without turning it around, I decided that I don't necessarily want this to be a night scene. So I'm not, so all around the top there too, there's in that same kind of brownish gray color, stars of sorts. I'm not going to stitch the moon, and I'm not going to stitch those. And then I'm also not going to stitch this big tree. I'm just going to leave the fences between the trees. So I'm going to make it more of a daytime and do it in that sense and not border it. I am using the called for colors besides what I would have changed for the moon. I think everything else I am using called for. And here it is. After all the things I'm not stitching, let's show you what I stitched. This is 18 count. It's a white opal, and I'm not sure if the sparkle will come through. And that's part of why I decided, you know what, I'm not sure I necessarily need it as a night theme. It's got the pretty opal that you can see in person just fine. So why not just focus on that and have that be where I wanted to go. If I wanted this more of a night scene, you know, maybe a darker with an opal, then the moon would have worked for me in my mind a little bit better. So I did this entire house. I came down and I did the bottom part of that one. I finished off the roof here, and then I did this tree, which might need a little base. I ran out of green. My green, for some reason, and I'm not sure why, was, I must have been making the threads too long, was shredding a little bit. So I have to be careful. And then I did this tree as well. Now, I do have to go back. The doorways are filled with green as their doors. And so I've got some of them stitched and a few I need to still stitch. The windows are supposed to be stitched in white. I'm not going to stitch them. I figure why bother? Again, you know, you've got the nice little opal So every once in a while you get a sparkle that comes through, and then it's just a little bit bulky sometimes with the white, as the window, when everything background wise is already white. So I am not going to stitch the inside of the windows either, but I will stitch the doorways. This one's so fun because it's all these little mini finishes, so I can focus on something and say, and this is what I was doing when I first started this. This week I want to get that house done, or I want to get 3 trees done, or something or other. This is, I have to come down a little bit more. This is how far down it'll come. And you can see there how I've made the unofficial border without making a border. So I'm I'm enjoying this. I had put it away for a while, but I like the idea of the mini finishes. And really, if I just keep plugging away and finding little finishes, I could get this finished this year. So hopefully, as long as it doesn't end up in the pile, because there's always something new to start, right? And I'm okay with, you know, projects being started and not finished. I think I was up to, when I did my project parade, I think I was up to maybe 35, maybe. But the number to me is irrelevant. I am a process stitcher. So I like the process of stitching. Having everything finished, it's a nice bonus, but it's not the reason why I stitch. Okay, now, second one. I pulled this one out, and this one, my goal was 100 stitches a day, and that's what I did. It is Christmas Town from Stitchrovia. I love it. The only thing I'm not stitching, because I'm doing it on white, I'm not going to stitch the snow pathway. There's some snow at the top of the tree, which I will do, so it'll look like a snow-covered tree. But the pathway, I'm going to leave empty. It's already white, plus it'll add a little bit of dimension because the thread will be a little bit taller than the path, so that will maybe add a little bit of dimension to it. So let me show you. This is another white aida, 18 count white aida, and there I am. Now, I have come to a conclusion on how to stitch this one most successfully. When I first did it, it's a digital pattern. I printed it off. I have a black and white printer, so I did it and just printed it off and was just stitching along, not making a working copy back then. So when I pulled that out this week, I said, okay, I'm going to make a working copy and I'm going to start crossing off as I go. Well, this pattern is difficult because she has no, it's a 4-page pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's no overlay. So, and you're changing colors all the time. And I'm getting to the point, I'm right at the middle that way and then down this way. So I was having difficulty, not only with the sheer number of changes of colors, but also where the page breaks were. I was having a lot of trouble really seeing it in my mind and being able to stitch it. Even the working copy, I tried for one day and I said, it's still not working. So I have on my well, all my devices, because you can sync it across your devices, I have Dropbox. We had gotten it ages ago to put pictures on and be able to share them. And everybody in the family now has the Dropbox on their devices. And so somebody can put something in there and anybody can access it in our family. And I decided I wanted to put my cross stitch patterns on there as well, because yes, I have them on well, I haven't updated the thumb drive, but I have them on a little thumb drive as well as on the laptop. But you know, laptops could crash, thumb drives, there could be an issue. So I wanted them somewhere else. And Dropbox, we do pay for the yearly subscription because you can get it free, but this way I have much more storage. And whenever I get a digital pattern, you know, I download it, but I also immediately put it onto the Dropbox. I have a folder just for cross stitch patterns. And so that's where they all are. So I pulled it up on Dropbox, and one of the ways that she sends this is as one full piece color. And I don't even need to put it, I do have markup RXP that I could put it in. I don't need to, because I don't care about crossing off in my mind. When I blow it up as the one piece color, each section is so distinct that it's so easy for me to see that I don't even have to block it off. I can just see, okay, that's this house right here or whatever, or this tree or whatever it happens to be. And it made my stitching go so much faster with this because this was really going slow. So I only did about 100 stitches a day, which in some cases can be a lot when you're switching a lot of the colors. It can take some time. But I really like the idea of what I've discovered for this one. So if you have Dropbox, if you already have it and you are putting your patterns on there, it is a way, you know, obviously with the full coverages, the big ones, I think it would be a lot harder because here you can distinctly see everything is so small. You know exactly what it is. Whereas the regular ones, I think that would be too difficult for me. But for something this size, which has so many different elements that I can really see distinctly, it's another option out there if you have it and you haven't been using it to try, especially if you don't think you'd need to be crossing things off. So that's Christmas Town. Loving it, loving it. And I'm so happy now that I've discovered I've enjoyed stitching. I enjoyed stitching it this week much more than I had in the past because I didn't have to keep second guessing what I was actually stitching and was it right. Because I already made a mistake early on and had to pull out, had to pull out a whole section of something because I had counted wrong. All right, one more. It has nothing to do with my made plans at all. I just felt like stitching it, so I pulled it out. You know that even though I may or may not have plans, I subscribe to the idea of if I feel like stitching whatever pattern it is on a given day, that's what I'm going with. So I pulled out Serena Sprout from Autumn Lane Stitchery. We have a hashtag Serena Sprout SAL if you're stitching it along with me or just in general. And here she is. This is 18 count Honeydew Melon from To Die For Fabrics. This was the original piece that I pulled out to stitch, and that's when I saw it that I loved it for Fragments #1. Let's go up close. I wanted more color, so I finished her hat. I have to do some stuff, greenery around here, and started into her face. And then I did a little last night, and I said, let's do some more. There's a whole big element up here. So I wanted to maybe incorporate that as well and then work my way down. I think there's a butterfly here that I have to do and so on and so forth. So I have little bits and pieces to do, but I love this. I love stitching on this one. I love their charts. Their charts are very well done, and that's part of it. I'm finding it so enjoyable how they chart, and I love the colors. I love the color of the fabric. I love the bright colors we're using for the pattern itself, so it's just a win-win. So that's what Serena looks like. I make no promises if you'll see her or not. I might pull out, if I'm not feeling some of my current ones, maybe I'll pull out one of them is a Christmas gnome, or I might pull out sunflower gnome. It depends. This week, we'll see. If I'm not feeling one of the other ones and I want to try something different. So you never know what you're going to see from week to week. But here's Serena. And let me know where you are if you're stitching it, how far along you've gotten. Have you started it? Did you go with the green? Did you change colors? What are you doing? All right, so that's the stitching. That's all of the stitching. I know. I had a lot of time on my hands and I wanted to not think about things, so I stitched. I did more stitching several of the days, probably twice as much as I normally do on any given day. But anyway, probably won't see anywhere near that amount of progress ever again. Plans. So I want to start another mini full coverage today. I haven't decided which of the two I have left that I want to start. And then, did I bring? I was going to show you. Did I put it underneath here? Oh, maybe it's not. Yeah, it is. I'm not necessarily sure I'm done with Christmas stitching, and more specifically starts. I have stitched 2 of the 3 of these Santas, And I really would like to stitch the third. So I have stitched here and here. So I have this guy left. I don't know what year is he. I have to open that up. He would be year 1991. So that's a possibility. I would continue to do him on the same fabric I've done all the other ones. I have it. The other one is going to require a little bit more thought. I pulled out this one, and you'll see why when I show you my shopping. I've thought about these. I'm not stitching them as trees. They would be along the sampler size, but you know I would change the fabric. And I have got 1, 2, 3 that I had bought previously. I think there's up to 6, and that's part of my dilemma. She hasn't put out all of them yet. I was thinking about different shades of green potentially. I want to pull out the 3 I have and see what I have. You know, I'm not sure how the flosses go from each one, how close they are and match. But I think various and different shades of green might look kind of cool if it makes sense. And that would be kind of a leap of faith, not knowing what the next 6 are going to be. So I don't know. It's a thought. I would start the Prairie Schooler Santa, I think, before this one, because I am not quite ready to commit to fabrics on this one. But we'll see. It won't be just the white background. It will definitely be some sort of color. So that's my thoughts, plans, ideas, maybe. Again, maybe iffy, what I plan on doing. Okay, shopping. Let's see here. I just have a little bit. I have a fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. Their May 2022 came in. So look away. Again, and I've said this almost every month, I say this. I don't know how it's done because I feel like when other people show it, their color, it's never anywhere near what I've gotten. But I don't know. So look away though if you don't want to see. This is an 18 count Aida. And that's what it looks like. It's called Patina. And it's funny because when I look at it in certain lights, it looks one color, but then it definitely almost has that patina sort of look that you would see in other lights. So it's really kind of interesting color. So I'm unsure of what I'll use it for, but I'm intrigued by what I might use it for. Okay, I put that away if you want to look back. Put it over here so it's out of the way. Okay, next, I made a very quick order. I was watching Jenny from Long Dog Stitcher, Long Dog, I think it's Long Dog Stitcher, right? Oh my gosh. And you all are yelling at me because, you know, she's so fun to watch. So many of you are probably watching her. Well, she's doing a daily mania video, and you know, some of them are a minute long, 2 minutes, and some of them are 7 or 8 minutes. And she's taking us along her day, not just stitching type of things, which is so much fun. And early on, I don't know if it was day 1 or day 2, she talked about getting new needles. Now, I love the Pat's needles. Obviously, I haven't heard anything about being able to get them anywhere anymore now that they'd stopped manufacturing. I've heard some people say that there was somebody else that was going to do, I don't know. But I'm running out of needles anyway. So I needed something else. And everybody has their ideas but whatever. But she was talking about, she tried these needles and she loved them. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give them a try. They're Peacemakers. Is that what the name of it is? Yeah, Peacemakers. So I looked on Etsy to see who had them, and I was going to get them from one site, but their shipping, oh gosh, it was, and I wasn't just going to get needles, and I did get, I got a couple of needles, but I was going to add a few other things, and the shipping was getting to the point where it was more expensive than the items. So I said, I'm not going to order there, and that's new because I've ordered from that place before. But then I was just searching and mad for minders. So she had them. And I've ordered a few needle minders from her before, but not much else. So I picked up those, and at the same time, ironically, I got no needle minders. I picked up a couple charts. One of them, she had the day 6, which I still need 4 and 5, but where I was going to get 4 and 5, they were sold out of 6. And this is obviously the newest one, so it's harder to get in some cases. This one I think is my favorite for the colors. As soon as I saw the colors, I thought this was so pretty. So I said, I'm going to grab it because at some point I'll stitch it. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with that. That might look nice on the Honeydew Melon, actually. And then I just happened to pick this one up too. Quaker Blooms from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. Now she has the Quaker Months, you know, the little mini Quaker Month patterns, which I don't know if I'd stitch because, again, there's a few other monthly things I may want to stitch, and I've said this before, how many month things can I have? But this one I thought was pretty. I like the colors. It's a small, so it would be a quicker stitch, and I do like the kind of Quaker idea. So I did pick this one up. So that's it. So that's all I got. I didn't get much. But the order, Mad for Minders, she was so super quick. I ordered this, I don't know if it was over the weekend or if it was Monday, and it must have been over the weekend because I've had it now for probably 2 or 3 days. She sent it right away, and I want to say it was coming from California, and so the shipping was quick as well. I mean, obviously, once it leaves her hand, she can't control that, but she got it out immediately, which is what she can control. So I got it quickly. So yeah, so that was it. That was the shopping. Really, I wanted those needles. The other part was just extra. So I'll be curious to give them a try. If you've used them, tell me what you think. On what you think about them. Okay. I am so cold. What's next? Giveaways. All right, so we have a giveaway to pull, and then a new one this week. And I finally gave away my gift certificate from Jardin Privé. So excited. Got somebody to respond. So in case you were curious, what I did was I ended up buying the gift certificate, and then it's strange. I don't get emails from them. I have to go into my account on Jardin Privé, and that's how I download things. And that's how I opened up the information on the gift certificate. It gave me a code, and I was able to give that code to a Stitchy friend who won. And that's how it worked. And then you put the code in when you buy. So now we know how to do it. This week, I was talking about giving away one of the Fragments in Time, #1, that I'm stitching. And I just asked you to say the word time. Okay. I'm so excited to look at the other ones now. A whole new world if I decide I want to change up the fabric colors. And it's amazing. The patterns can look so different sometimes. All right, so let me grab a name from my bowl. Okay, and our winner is, I'm gonna put your name up here. Aida. Alicia, congratulations. If you could get back to me with your address, I would love to send this pattern out to you. All right, so I'm gonna put your name with the pattern. Put that right there. Okay, this week I pulled out, I had bought 2 of these, and I've already given one away. And I decided, since it's spring and the flowers, well, we think it's spring here. I'm not sure it's spring here, but the flowers are trying to bloom, and I'm sure they're blooming elsewhere just fine, that it was time to give this away. So several months ago, I bought 2 thread keeps from Crafty Cat Stitcher on Etsy. And Kathy has a floss tube, if you're interested. I love watching Kathy. She recently put one out that I'm halfway through. I have to go back and watch the rest of it. But anyway, I'm putting it up against this so that you can see it. It's a violet. It's a set of violets there. And then there's also a scissor charm and then a purple little stone as well. And the ring itself is just your regular silver. It's more of a silver tone. I want to say the other one I gave away was more of like a, the deeper copper nickelish, but this is silverish tone. So this is this week's giveaway. If you would like me to put your name into the blue bowl for it, just say the word Violet, V-O-I-L-E-T, Violet. Violets, if you say it plural, it's fine. I look for them and I keep an eye out for the word anyway. And sometimes if you clearly were trying to enter and the wrong word was said, if I can find it, I put your name in anyway. That's the beauty of me putting the names in a bowl and picking. I can do it without having to worry about the digital part of it. But if you remember, Violet is the word that I would ask you to say, and I will pass along this beautiful thread keep. And I will link Kathy's Etsy shop below, and I will also link her Flosstube if you would be interested. She has some great things that she stitches, and she does beautiful work. So that's that. That's this week's giveaway. And for my old Stampin' Up! Friends, remember Purely Pomegranate? That's what this is. I have one last pack of Purely Pomegranate. I loved that. I'm going to put it away before it gets ruined. I loved that color. I was sad when they retired it. Okay, so that's it. That is all the stitching stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this real quick, take a deep breath, and then do a life update, and I will stitch them two together once I have a coherent life update. So if you are heading off now, I hope you have a fabulous week or whenever I see you again next, and happy stitching to you. If you want to hear about life stuff, then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's give this a go. So life stuff, let's talk about the happy stuff first. The kids had finals this week. I'm not sure how happy they were about that, but I think everything got in, so I'm happy about that. Couple potential timing snafus for Connor's papers, but I think it all worked out okay. And yeah, so we will see them this weekend. I'm super excited. Haven't seen them since spring break. And yeah, maybe they can bring some nice weather with them, because clearly I have none to offer right now. It has stopped raining, but it is I don't think we're seeing the sun at all today. I'm not sure I'm going to see it much tomorrow either. I haven't seen it much at all this week, to be quite honest with you. I said to Mo, I talked to him this morning, and I said to him, I don't think I've seen the sun all week. I really don't. Maybe it was out for a fraction of a time, but for the most part, it's been all clouds. But anyway, I'm procrastinating, but I did want to say that thank you to everybody. Many of you guessed correctly that we did lose Shamrock. It was very, very difficult. But all of your words and all of your support have helped so much. I want to say thank you, heartfelt, for that. When I filmed on Monday, I wasn't expecting what was coming. Neither one of us did. But sometimes things happen, and he failed to such a degree that we had to say goodbye. So anyway, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your love and support and prayers and kindness. It has meant the world to me. The house is very, very empty, and I'm still kind of getting used to it, looking for him. He was my little shadow and companion. So it has been a tough week, but I know so many of you have experienced that, and your wisdom of what eventually how I will feel has helped. So thank you for that. All right, that was not as bad as I thought it could be, but I wanted to leave you some of you have sent me cards, and this beautiful one by Mary that she made, I can't read the words without bawling, but it's so true. So I'm going to bring it up close. First, you can see the beautiful card she made, but those words are so true. And I'm sure any of you who have had a pet and lost a pet know firsthand how that feels. So the rest of May will be, I'm trying to think. Connor may have a job. He is going to have go in for an interview on Sunday. They did a video interview already, which is interesting in these days and times. So he's really hoping. It's retail, but it's a place that he would really want to work. So, and Megan has a internship in Philly that she will be doing this summer. So we'll get to see her for a little bit, but then she is going to be that way for the summer. And yeah, that's about it really. No specific plans besides that. We'll see what happens. I'm taking it each day by day. Obviously our days and what we did was really regimented in how we did it with an eye towards Shamrock. So I was floundering a little bit, but I'll find my footing and figure out what's going on from there. So I'd say that's about it. Thank you for, I said to Mo, you know, I've got such great online friends, and he said, they're not, you don't even designate them as online friends, they're friends. And I really do appreciate your friendship. So many of you reached out, and I posted yesterday on Instagram. That was the first time I said anything publicly, because we had then told the kids. We didn't originally because we wanted them to concentrate on their finals. And again, so many of you said such beautiful things on that post, and it helps. Even if it makes me sad reading them, it helps. So that was tough to find the pictures and do the post, but I'm glad I did, and it has been helpful. So if you hadn't guessed it from last week's video, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have found out yesterday, if you were looking at your Instagram, what had made me sad and why I couldn't talk about it last week. But that's it. That's all I got. I am going to get some stitching in this afternoon. I was thinking about going for a walk, but if it's going to rain all day, that's probably not happening. So I guess it's inside workout for me. And I got a couple new cookbooks that I want to sit, and I don't know if anybody else likes to, but I like to read cookbooks and look at them. So I'm excited to do that. And I want to do some more research. I've got some ideas for things for the studio, craft room. I used to always call it studio back when I had that Etsy store and all that. But so now I have to find, you know, when you have ideas in your mind and you have to find that kind of stuff to buy. So I think that might be on my agenda too. But that's about it. So excuse me. Now I'm just really rambling. But thank you so much. If you did stay for the life update, thank you for all your support. It has meant the world to me. And thank you for your friendship. Doesn't matter if it's online or not. It has been pure friendship, and I am forever grateful for that. So before I tear up for my gratitude for you, because I'm a crier, you know that by now. Until next time, happy stitching, my friends.